Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a market breakdown. It is Sunday, November 23rd, last week of November. So our goal will be to end the month, end the month off strong. So far, it has been down and up. We're pretty even on wins and losses, about 50-50. But we're currently up. So that's what's important. And the goal for this week will be one good win, maybe two if possible. So aiming for around 10%. So we're about almost 6% right now. So we need 4 more percent. But it's not really about forcing the trades. It's more about letting them come to us. So we're not going to be worried about the numbers. All right, starting with overview of last week's trades. We took NZD USD. We'll take a look at it on the daily time frame. So we closed early. This would have been the winner for us. Similar to the way it was in the other weeks. About a 1 to 2, maybe a 1 to 3 from this one. But price has pulled back. I'm pretty sure it's going to be something like this, where we pull back only to sell further, maybe something like this, pull back to sell further. There's a chance that we continue to sell here because we've pulled back into the previous structure, kind of. But there's also a chance that this is the beginning of another pullback, which could create a double top or could just be retesting previous structure in order to sell. So as of right now, we're going to have to wait on that one. Price is currently still trading underneath the 4-hour EMA and could very easily just continue to sell from here. Next trade we took was GBP USD. Now, this is why I'm considering that NZD USD could continue to sell, because GBP USD technically hasn't created a lower low on the daily time frame. Usually when price sells, it sells, creates a lower low, sells, creates a lower low, sells, creates a lower low. This one has sold, but it hasn't created a lower low. So I do believe that there's going to be more selling that happens here. Obviously, we don't know if it's going to be all the way into this area of interest, but I do know that it's going to continue to sell at some point. Same with NZD USD and AUD USD. So all of these should be able to sell throughout this week. Anyways, let's go ahead and clear our lists and go ahead and go over some of these other pairs. Bitcoin has had another week trading underneath the weekly EMA, underneath the daily EMA, underneath the 4-hour EMA. Now, at this point, I do believe we've reached some kind of a short-term bottom. We've retested this previous structure and tapped into some buying liquidity. Had a strong rejection on the 4-hour time frame. At this point, there's probably going to be some short-term buyers. Maybe push price up to the daily EMA or into, it's almost already at the 4-hour EMA. So we'll probably break above for a while, maybe trade above for a while until we eventually continue to sell. I think it's a little bit too soon to say that this is the bottom of price action and that from now on we're just going to reach all-time highs. I don't think so. I think we're actually going to continue to sell. We might be entering a bit of a bear market for Bitcoin. I mean, last time we sold underneath the EMA, we retested the EMA, and we sold. I mean, the market structure is almost the same if you look at it. You have price pushing all-time highs, pull back into the EMA, all-time highs, sold underneath the EMA, retested, sold, retested, sold, retested, sold, shifted structure on the weekly time frame, and then broke above the EMA and continued to buy. So if I take this and I drag it up here, what do we have? The same freaking structure. And you see where the actual the support resistance zone is right here. At previous structure. I didn't change anything, I didn't draw anything. It's there. Like I've already had it marked up. So that's what I expect Bitcoin to do, is just push up into the previous structure, into the EMA, into the area of interest, to sell into the next support resistance. And then from there, it'll probably slow down, mess around, shift the structure on the day, on the weekly, break above the EMA, and then we're good. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. Yeah, so pull back to sell. And notice this will take weeks. This is like probably months. And this is where most people lose their money. This is where most people will put their money into Bitcoin expecting it. This is the bottom. This is the bottom. I'm investing now. You guys are all idiots, you know, all of that stuff. And then they end up getting liquidity swept. That's it. They're going to get margin called. Their accounts are going to get emptied. And they're going to, or if that doesn't happen, they're going to panic sell as soon as price creates new lows. And this is where a bunch of wealth gets wiped out, and then the new bull run starts. So SPX, still bullish on the weekly time frame. Daily time frame is now underneath the daily EMA. It is bearish. 4-hour time frame is bearish. Now at this point, we're underneath 2 EMAs. Our daily time frame has a double top. We've retested the double top and we're selling underneath. Kind of similar to right here. Very, very similar. We broke underneath and now we're probably going to continue to sell. If Bitcoin's dropping, I'm guessing that the SPX is going to drop as well. Now they're not correlated in any type of way, but one market usually tanks. Most of them go with it. Nasdaq, same thing. Weekly time frame is still bullish. US 30 weekly time frame is still bullish. Underneath the daily EMA, underneath the daily EMA, bearish market structure, bearish market structure. That's it. We're selling this week. At this point, you just mark up what you think your support resistance zones are and, you know, take the best trade available. I don't know if price is going to push all the way up into this area of interest. Considering how price already retested it perfectly and sold. Like I had this marked up way earlier. I had this area of interest marked up a long time ago. And now price is retesting, selling, and will continue to do so. Gold. Gold on the weekly time frame is bullish. We close with a bearish doji candle, which isn't the best. But the daily time frame is bullish. We're at the support resistance zone here. Really, really choppy last week. We do have this like inverted head and shoulder structure right here. You have your, oops. Yeah, it's more of like a shoulder, head, shoulder. At this point, if price manages to break back above this EMA, then there's a good chance that we retest and just continue to buy from here. That's what I'm thinking might happen. If not, then we're at a perfect place where price is kind of getting squeezed. Similar to right here, you kind of just start trading closer to the EMA, closer to the EMA, and eventually you just sell. So those are your two options. Either you wait for the break above the EMA, proper close above the EMA. You see how here price never closed above the EMA, but as soon as it did, it corrected closed above the EMA again, and then we took off. So if you close above the EMA, in fact, we kind of did, didn't we? If we're really like, this structure looks very similar to this structure right here, right? So we've bought up very aggressively. We bought very aggressively. Now we're correcting. Right as soon as price breaks back above, like we can even zoom in. This is where, no, this isn't where I took, this is where I took a trade. 2 hour time frame. Yeah, so the 2 hour broke above, started to break above and retest above the 2 hour EMA. So that's probably what I would look for here. You just wait for the 2 hour to properly break above, retest. As soon as the 2 hour starts trading above the EMA, you could probably start to buy. The XY dollar index seems to be recovering, bullish engulfing candle. Still underneath that weekly EMA. Still underneath the weekly EMA, above the area of interest, above the daily EMA, above the 4 hour EMA, above everything that matters really, other than that weekly time frame. So at this point, just continuing to make bullish market structure. Continuing to make bullish market structure and trading above those EMAs is what's important. All right, yeah. So here we have bearish, bullish, bullish, so on and so forth. Into the Forex pairs. So weekly time frame, bearish. Daily time frame, bearish. So we've created a lower low on NZD USD. We're having a pullback. 4 hour time frame is bearish. At this point, it would be kind of risky, I will say, a little bit risky considering we're taking a trade further away from the EMA. So I would have to see proper rejection, proper selling. This might be a risky trade that I take. Maybe not this one, maybe GBP USD instead of this one. I would say as soon as price kind of closes below, starts trading below the 30-minute EMA, I would consider re-entering this one for further sells. Yeah, because in my opinion, we're not done here. I think what we're doing is we're retesting a lot of this stuff right here, retesting all of this stuff right here in order to continue to sell. This is definitely going to be on my list. NZD USD is a good one, but I don't think I'm going to pick it. I think GBP USD is much cleaner. In terms of we haven't made that lower low. Obviously, if one of them is going to sell, both of them are most likely going to sell. But yeah, man, I've loved the price action that we've had on this pair. I'm sad that I haven't capitalized more off of it. I think that I left a lot of money on the table considering how good these moves are. There was a saying that I read, or I saw, I don't even know, but it was when the markets are hard, you go easy, but when the markets are easy, you go hard. Meaning, if the markets are simple, they're easy, that's when you increase your risk, you increase your leverage, you just try to take advantage of the market when it's being easy, when it's showing you clean market structure, when the risk isn't as much as it used to be. Like for example, here, we know what we're doing, we know what we're waiting for. So yeah, still good overall. Just like I had mentioned at the beginning of the call, I think we're in a situation like this where there's still more selling potential. So we're not at the bottom of this move yet. We haven't started the daily pullback. I think that we're going to continue to sell into this week. So yeah, we have a bearish engulfing weekly candle. Chances of us closing with like a doji or something are pretty high, but that means that there's still going to be a little bit of selling happening on the 4 hour and on daily. And then we're going to have our pullback later in the week. So don't get greedy. Take those profits. Don't hold throughout the entire week. Obviously, there's a chance that we just close all the way down here. There's always a chance of something happening, but just to be safe. USD CAD, frustrating little pair here. Did us dirty last week. Or was that the week before? No, that was last week. That was last week. We were ready to buy from this area of interest here. We had our push up. We had everything we needed to see. Price shifted above the EMA, and then we just sold. We sold down, and I said we're basically waiting for. I think I marked it down. Waiting for a break and retest to buy. The break and retest was right here, or yeah, that was our break and retest. 4 hour time frame went bullish. Remember, I had mentioned we're either looking for a lower low, shift the structure to buy, or we're waiting for the shift the structure right here above this point, pull back to buy. And that's exactly what happened. Now, at this point in the move, I probably wouldn't enter. I don't love trading something so far away from the EMA. But yeah, that one is what it is. It ran away. At this point, at this point, I don't see a trade here. I think in fact, we've already reached our profit target within like 2 days. Price hit the profit target, which was the daily structure. Obviously, the daily time frame has to create a higher high now. So we're probably going to push higher and then have another pullback and then have another push. So as of right now, I'm not interested in USD CAD. We're a little bit far from the area of interest. We do have another area of interest forming right here. Kind of. This is previous structure. You have another structure right here. So yeah, we can delete this one. And this is our next, wow, excuse me. This is our next structure point where we're waiting for price to pull back, previous structure to continue to buy, whether that's from up here, we drop down, then buy, or whether that's an immediate pullback at the beginning of the week to create a weekly wick to retest previous structure before we continue to have those buys. So I guess this could be one that I'm interested in if price decides to have this pullback. Anything can happen. This is kind of like a double bottom. This is kind of like the neckline. EMA, it's all right here. So I'll keep an eye on this one. I haven't traded USD CAD in a long time. So it went from being one of my favorite pairs to not being traded. But anyways, yeah, weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bullish, 4 hour time frame is also bullish. Euro AUD. Euro AUD, weekly time frame, bullish, daily time frame is now wow, is now bullish as well. At this point, we can forget about the sells. We have 2 time frames that are bullish. Oops. So we have 2 time frames that are bullish. Weekly's bullish, daily's bullish, 4 hour time frame is also bullish. So now we have 3 time frames that are bullish. Nope, that's bearish. We shifted bearish again. But it doesn't really matter. Now, here's the thing. So we close with a bullish engulfing candle on a weekly time frame. Okay. At this at this point, I can see the weekly time frame opening, creating a wick to the downside, and then closing with the wick fill. So this is going to be a pair that I look to trade this week. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, so let's throw this one up here. This is going to be one that I'm interested in. Weekly time frame, 4-hour time frame. Basically a retest of this area of interest here. 4-hour time frame is still bearish. Okay, so it did shift bearish temporarily. So chances of us pushing a little bit lower aren't that impossible. In fact, we are already underneath this 1 hour EMA. So we will probably retest the 1 hour EMA sell and then shift back above. Yeah, okay, so this is what I'm seeing happening. We maybe pull back a little bit, hit the EMA, then we sell, and then we just mess around here, maybe like make a lower low, make a double bottom, then we have a shift of structure, and then we break above the EMA on the 30-minute time frame, the 1 hour time frame, and then we just take off. So if I could draw it out for you, it would look something like this. And then basically, as soon as we shift back above, we retest, you get your engulfing. This is your entry right here. Above the EMA, bullish market structure on the lower time frames, maybe an engulfing candle right here. Your entry is this, your stop loss underneath the EMA, and then your take profit is, realistically, you don't really have a take profit. Price here could reach any heights. So I would honestly target right here. This would be my take profit. My first take profit would be this daily structure. And you have a weekly structure right here. So that could be take profit number 1, weekly structure for a 1 to 2, daily structure for a 1 to 3, or you have another weekly structure, 1 to 3.5. But my final take profit would obviously be this weekly structure right here, which is the bullish weekly structure, which caused us to have this strong pullback, this correction. And that would be a 1 to 5, basically. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. It was a lot to draw out, but I hope you guys kind of got the gist of that. Pull back, pull back to buy. All right, let's go through some CHF pairs, or never mind. We'll throw the CHF pairs down here for now. What else do we have? CAD pairs, a bunch of CAD and USD pairs here. GBP CAD, doing what I thought I was going to do, just doing it a little bit late. We had a loss right here. Unfortunate. We probably should have stayed away at this point. We have rejected weekly structure, weekly EMA quite a lot. We've rejected it for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, technically 3. Daily time frame still bearish. Weekly time frame is bearish. But the 4-hour time frame has shifted bullish. So 4-hour time frame is bullish. Broke, retested the trend line, and at this point we should see some buyers taking over this market. If you want to be safe, you wait for a break of the daily EM or the daily time frame, rejection of the daily EMA, probably a pullback, and then a buy. So the daily time frame goes bullish. That would be the best thing to wait for, I think, in my opinion. This could take a few days, so I'm not going to be interested right away. But this is one that I can see happening over the next couple of weeks. I do think we're going to reach the top of this market structure. If we look at it, the monthly time frame is bullish. We're creating higher highs. This is so annoying. I have to fix this. I just don't know. These are all trades that I took, but they got expanded by TradingView, while others got minimized. minimized. All right, so monthly time frame is bullish, weekly time frame is bearish, but if we're being real, we're trading very, very bullish overall. Like here, we went bearish, retested the EMA, and then we just continue to go higher. Here, we went bearish to retest the EMA, then we went higher. You know, it happens more often than not. Here, we went bearish to retest the EMA, and then we went higher. So I think we're in the same position where we're just retesting the EMA, and we're actually going to continue to push higher. Only thing stopping us right now is this daily EMA and the fact that the daily time frame is bearish, which I think that's going to change very, very quickly. If you're not feeling patient, you could probably take this trade without the daily time frame going bullish. Since now we're above the EMA, maybe you just wait for the weekly the week. Okay, so this is what I would recommend. If you're going to enter early, you just set your stop loss to break even as soon as possible. You know, if we price has the weekly wick, which is what I was saying earlier, we create the weekly wick, retesting this 4-hour EMA, and then we have our buying signal, you know, at whichever point. You have your engulfing candle, say on the 30-minute time frame, and you enter the trade right here. Okay. Now, as soon as it reaches the daily EMA, there's a chance that we have a reaction to the downside, right? So to protect yourself from like a possible deeper reversal, you want to keep a tight stop loss. Then you just set your stop loss to break even, and then let's say price just has a small pullback and then just blows straight to your take profit, or then you're safe, or a price has a deeper pullback, say into the area of interest, then you can just get another re-entry somewhere down here and you don't have to worry about, you know, extra risk. So there's a few options for you to take this trade. Personally, I'm just going to wait and see what happens throughout the week. Probably not going to trade it myself, but I will keep you guys updated on what I think might happen. EuroCAD. EuroCAD weekly daily time frame is bearish. We did close above the EMA on the daily. All right, so weekly time frame bearish. We have a bearish engulfing candle. Daily time frame bearish. We have retested daily EMA. We're above it, but we have a rejection candle. 4-hour time frame is still bearish. We have created a double top on the 4-hour right here. 1, 2. We're retesting the neckline. We're retesting the EMA. At this point, you're really just looking for proper indication to sell. Maybe a small wick to the upside, you know, on the weekly time frame, something like this, and then a rejection. You're basically waiting for buyers to come in at the beginning of the week, push price higher, and then watch them fail. So as soon as they fail their you know, whatever it's called, their auctions, as soon as they fail to buy price higher and it starts to sell again, the sellers take back over. At that point, you're probably good to take sells on this one. EuroCAD. This is one that I would probably consider trading this week for sells. GBP CAD weekly time frame. We already went over it. GBP AUD weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bullish. Now we are underneath the daily EMA. So for this one, yeah, you're getting a little bit of like opposing views. We have a bunch of buyers and a bunch of sellers ready to take over. Weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bullish, and the 4-hour time frame is bearish still from this point down to here. Now, you're underneath an area of interest. You're retesting the daily EMA. You have a rejection candle, so you could risk it and try to take sells, you know, try to sell further down, hoping that price reverses on the daily time frame. As of right now, I'm not going to be taking this trade. I don't love the idea of, well, this one does look very clean on the daily time frame. just not as clean as NZD USD. You do have your rejection candle. Okay, so if you want to take sells, which is a bit riskier, you wait for price to break and retest, basically show that the sellers are back in control and then go for that. Or if you're going to go for buys, you kind of wait, you'd have to wait for a daily candle to close bullish. So rejecting, not rejecting, but disrespecting the EMA in the area of interest. Maybe basically a break and retest so that the 4 hour time frame goes bullish and you break above this inverted head and shoulders. You have your shoulder, you have your head, you have your shoulder, break above, retest to buy. That would be what I look for to take trades on GBP AUD. I don't hate this one actually. I do think that that's a good opportunity if we can show that the sellers are done, that they can't push price lower, because as soon as we reject this area of interest, there's a good chance we create lower lows. And then the daily time frame goes bearish again, and then you're no longer looking for buys at all. You're actually looking for sells again. All right, so we've gone over these. NZD CAD, weekly time frame, bearish, daily time frame, bearish. We've created a lower low, 4 hour time frame, retesting the EMA. For this one as well, just like NZD USD, same thing exactly. Just waiting for a rejection to continue to sell. Not interested in this one. Not as clean as I'd like. Maybe if we get a daily rejection candle, a doji or something, then this would be a little bit easier for us to trade. All right, AUD USD. This is one that I will be trading this week most likely. Weekly time frame, head and shoulders pattern. So remember, wow. Remember how I had mentioned price breaking through the weekly EMA? What have we done? We finally broken through the weekly EMA. What else have we done? We finally broken through this area of resistance on the daily time frame. So we're successfully trading underneath both of those areas. We're just waiting for a retest of the head and shoulders neckline, a retest of the head and shoulders neckline on both the daily and the weekly time. I mean, this trade right here is going to be a monster trade. I mean, when I say monster, I mean insanely big. On the month, it's a monthly trade. Like this whole month is going to be red. It's going to be like this. I can almost guarantee it. Now, don't clip that and use it against me, but you know what I'm saying. I do see a lot of bearish potential. In fact, we can probably remove this. This isn't that important anymore, because you're basically working with a bunch of empty space on the weekly time frame and on the daily or on the monthly time frame. Like this is your profit target for the next 2 to 3 months is that. So yeah, a bunch of bearish potential. This is the trade that'll pass your prop firms and get you funded realistically. So yeah, waiting for a pullback to the previous area to continue to sell. I mean, I hope I'm not the only one seeing how clean this looks. You have your weekly head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, okay? And you have a daily head and shoulders inside of the weekly head and shoulder, okay? So you have your daily head and shoulders right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And guess what we're retesting? We're retesting the neckline of both of those, right? And we're retesting the EMA on the 4 hour time frame. So it's all really good. Yeah, it broke the neckline. Now we're retesting the neckline to continue to sell. Okay. All right. AUD USD gonna probably be at the top of my list. Both of these, and this is why I think that the NZD USD is going to continue to sell as well. I don't know. You could trade this one. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I just prefer these two right here. Okay. All right. Moving on. Yeah, then these ones down here, we're probably not going to get much out of them. So we'll see what happens. Weekly time frame, bullish. We had a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly, but we're trading above the EMA. Daily time frame is bearish. Underneath the daily EMA, 4-hour time frame is bearish underneath the daily EMA. Now, we're still in this chop zone. We have no room. Like literally, we haven't broken below, we haven't broken above. Not interested. Euro GBP. Euro GBP weekly time frame. Bullish daily time frame. Daily time frame is bearish. And 4-hour time frame is bearish. So we have two bearish time frames at the moment underneath the 4-hour EMA. Oh, I thought that was a B. That's a big ass fly. Holy. That thing attacks me, I'm gonna die. I don't know how I got in the apartment. I'm one moment. I'm gonna open a window. All right. Hopefully it finds its way out. All right, so we're underneath the EMA on the 4-hour time frame. We're underneath. No, we're not. I lied. I'm a liar. We're not underneath the EMA on the daily time frame, but we are underneath the 4-hour. At this point, we have two bearish time frames. We have bearish market structure on, we're creating kind of a head and shoulders right here. In my opinion, in fact, we already have a little head and shoulders right here. Retest of the neckline of the E and the EMA to sell into this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for price to retest the weekly market structure, the weekly double bottom, all this good stuff. So you could take counter trend trades, or no, it's not a counter trend trade anymore. It's just a trade to the downside. But I would take profit at this area of interest, considering that the higher time frame market structure is bullish. Monthly time frame is bullish. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily and 4-hour are bearish. So you're waiting for a retest of previous structures on the lower time frames to sell. And then once we get down to here, then we wait for price to slow down, for price to turn around. And then from down here is where we take our buys. So I would be interested in selling Euro GBP into, let me actually write that down. Short-term sells. In parentheses, I'm going to put counter trend trade. Okay, now this isn't technically counter trend. There's two time frames in sync to sell, but the overall market structure is going to be bullish. So counter trend trade, short-term sells into weekly AOI, area of interest, and previous structure. Okay, and then from there we can take our buys. All right. Gone over this. We've talked about, I think we've gone over I think we've gone over this one too. Yeah, this one is a super choppy one. Not interested. Euro USD. All right, Euro USD, another USD pair, and another sell. Another sell loading up. Weekly time frame is bullish. daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is bearish. Now, here the 4-hour time frame is bearish from right here down to here. Okay, not ideal, but price did do exactly what I thought it was going to do. I had it marked up, pull back to sell. At this point, same exact thing, maybe creating a double top, pull back to sell. Similar to market structure right here, where you have this pullback, nice sell, another pullback, almost into the same area to sell, just waiting for that EMA to kind of catch up a little bit. Yeah. Now I don't think that there's going to be a daily pullback. I think it's going to be more of a lower time frame. Maybe we get a daily candle that is a pullback candle. I don't think that we need one. Actually, we do. We do kind of need another daily candle, another daily pullback candle, because even here on AUD USD, we have our pullback candle, and then we need like one or two more. GBP USD, maybe we pull back further. Maybe we pull back further into previous structure, but I think that we already kind of have a pullback. I don't know. That is to be determined. Um, because all these USD pairs are going to move very similarly. So I could see us having a day or two of buying before we then sell really, really aggressively. Anyways, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to toss these other USD pairs in here as well, just because we know that they're all going to have a move together, kind of. And I can watch them a little bit more closely throughout the week. Anyways, yeah, basically just a daily pullback or a lower time frame pullback to continue to sell on Euro USD. Maybe retesting it's more so not even the 4-hour time frame. Sometimes it's just the 2-hour time frame where we pull back, retest the EMA on the 2-hour time frame, and then we continue to sell. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then there's always the possibility that we open in a couple of hours. What do we have? 12, no, not 12 hours, 8 hours until market open, and then price just dumps. So we'll see what happens with that one. Once again, it's looking like a lot of our pairs are USD or CAD pairs, mostly USD and a lot of Euro. So we have 1, 2, 3 Euro pairs, 4 Euro pairs. Anyways, moving on to JPY pairs. So GJ has pulled back into our previous structure. USD JPY is having a pullback. It is pulled back into previous structure as well, or EMA, or not EMA, wow, area of interest. CHF JPY sold pretty aggressively. Daily time frame actually went bearish. So we broke below this structure point. We went bearish on the daily time frame. 4-hour time frame is also bearish. So now we have two bearish time frames on CHF JPY. This could be a very aggressive sell. Pull back into these previous structures to sell. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 structure points. It is a 4-hour area of interest, not necessarily a daily one. But I could see this being the beginning of a sell into the EMA or into these previous structures right here. Either way, market structure is very bullish. I wouldn't force anything. I would just wait for this one to kind of come to me. And I would take short trade on this one. Not a huge swing trade. Yeah, so for these JPY pairs, it seems like most of them Most of them are starting to turn around. Now, our list is so extensive already that I don't really want to force anything. Um, but let's take a deeper look or a closer look at what's going on here. So, weekly time frame on NZD JPY is bullish, right? Now we have a weekly rejection candle right here. Daily time frame is bullish as well. Daily time frame is bullish, but we have these rejection candles, multiple rejection candles from this area. And we're starting to retest this EMA on the daily time frame, but we are still above it. So we have two time frames that are bullish. 4 hour time frame. I mean, this looks like a reversal incoming where we're just choppy, choppy, choppy above the EMA, above the EMA, above the EMA. And then next thing you know, we're below and then we retest and we sell. So I do believe that from here, we could actually sell into the next area of interest. But I'm not 100% sure. This one will have to kind of play by ear. Let's see what some of these other JPY pairs are doing, but I think that there is a potential counter trend trade under 4 hour EMA. Next, we have AUD JPY weekly time frame bullish, daily time frame is bullish, but the daily time frame is about to shift bearish. So that is up to you guys. Once again, 4 hour time frame is also nope. 4 hour time frame is actually bearish. So we create a little elbow right here, broke above, shifted. So we're actually bearish from right here down to here. So 4 hour time frame is bearish. Now another counter trend trade under 4 hour EMA. I'm just marking these up for you guys. I'm not going to be trading them, just letting you guys know. Not interested in any of these myself, but I do like when I say for myself, I mean for like signals. Like I wouldn't risk other people's money on these types of trades. Would I take a degenerate trade like this on my own? Yeah, I would. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, there's so many other markets that we have. So it's like, why would you do that? You know, I can't like reason for you guys. I can only reason for myself. CAD JPY weekly time frame is bullish. Daily daily time frame is bullish, and 4 hour time frame is bearish. So same thing once again. Counter trend trade under 4 hour EMA. Okay. Now, has anyone seen the perfect trade checklist on the Telegram? I had somebody send me a screenshot of it. That shit looks exactly like the TCT. I can't lie. I can't lie. It blows my mind because Freddie's been working on the TCT for like a year now. So it's like very interesting. Weekly time frame bullish, daily time frame is bullish. 4 hour time frame is bearish. Once again, counter trend trade under EMA. In fact, what I think I might do, never mind. We'll do that next time. We'll start like leaving trade notes on every pair as we go through them, and then every day we'll be able to see what our notes were for the previous day and how our analysis has changed. So yeah, here we're bearish on the 4 hour time frame. CHF JPY. This one isn't a counter trend trade. This is actually one that I would toss into my list because this has two time frames in sync. It's already like underneath the EMA. You have your double top, triple top, whatever. You have your neckline right here. This is one that I would consider taking sells under 4-hour EMA. Okay. Where were we? USD JPY and GBP JPY. Last two JPY pairs to run through. You guys get the general idea though, so I'm not going to spell it out for you guys. Same thing as all the other JPY pairs. Price is having some kind of a pullback. Whether that pullback has already finished, like for example, right here, do you think that price is done pulling back here? Well, we don't know. All we know is that price is currently at the area of interest, right? But we have a bearish engulfing candle. So we've had a rejection candle, we've had an engulfing candle, another rejection candle if you want to. In order to know if price here is done, we have to see lower time frames give us bullish market structure, or have a daily rejection candle similar to the one right here. So if we have a daily doji right here, don't you think that we can maybe see buyers coming in? So yeah, I would say yes to that. I think that if we had a rejection candle, then we would know a little bit more about if price is done pulling back or not. Wow. Euro JPY or Euro CHF is having some kind of a turnaround here, it seems. Is that all CHF pairs? Yeah, that's all CHF pairs. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. What I'm going to do is actually come back to those a little bit later. I want to switch the order of this. So NZD pairs, GBP NZD weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is bullish. So we're still waiting for that higher high to be created. I'm personally still not interested. Price here moves really choppy once again. But I do believe we're targeting this daily structure in order to create the next higher high on both the weekly time frame and a higher high on the daily time frame. So that's what I expect to happen. Euro NZD also a little bit choppy for my liking. Daily time frame has, however, created a higher high. So we basically pushed up, retested previous structure, area of interest, and had the next higher high. 4-hour time frame is daily time frame is bullish. 4-hour time frame is also bullish. So we have a higher high there. Now, I'm not really interested in getting involved in this market structure. Super choppy, kind of sideways. Not interested. And then AUD NZD, same thing, a little bit difficult to decipher what's happening here. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is still bullish. And I think what we're going to see is we're actually going to see price having more pullbacks, and then eventually have a push higher. So kind of in this stage right now where we've had a higher high, we've had a pullback, we failed to create the next higher high, and now we're just going to be stuck in a sideways yet downward motion until we reach an area where the sellers say, all right, we're no longer interested in selling, and the buyers are like, all right, now this is a good price for us to get in. So that's what we're waiting for there. Now onto the CHF pairs. I like little groups, so the JPY pairs and the CHF pairs to all be together and at the bottom of the list. So if for these ones, I don't think I'm going to be interested in them, to be honest. Weekly time frame is still bearish here. Weekly time frame is still bearish here, bearish here, bearish, bearish, and bullish. So here we are bullish on the weekly time frame. In fact, we've created another higher high. So we created a higher high here. And and then we created another one right next to it. Do we have any other CHF pairs? No. Okay, so next is the daily time frame. Daily time frame here is bearish. Daily time frame here is bearish. Same thing here. We have a lower low. So this is our lower high, lower low. Still bearish on the daily time frame. So bearish, bearish. Same thing here. Here, what do we have? Yeah, we're still bearish there on the daily time frame. Nothing changes. So most of these actually remain the same. So we still have two time frames that are bearish, but I think that's going to change very, very quickly. We either have an insane rejection, like this becomes I don't even know. I don't think we've seen anything like it recently. Yeah, I'm not sure about these ones. I think I'm just going to wait for this week, see how the weekly candle closes, and then come back to these ones. Here we have broken above the EMA. I mean, if we're going to be selling, we're going to be selling underneath the 4-hour EMA. But right now we are above the 4-hour EMA on almost every single one of these pairs. So not much we can do at the current moment. So that means our list has concluded. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pairs. Quite an extensive one this week, but let's say we group all the USD pairs together. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's technically -4. All right, so here we're looking for sells into the previous weekly area of interest. That is a 4-hour pullback to sell. Okay. Next is a AUD USD. Now these USD pairs can be one of two things, but they're mostly just a 4-hour pullback to sell as well. So 4-hour pullback to sell. Let me copy this and paste it across this USD pair, this USD pair, NZD USD, and Euro USD. So 4-hour pullback to sell on all of these in terms of what we're waiting for. USD CAD, same thing, 4-hour pullback to buy, to buy. There's 5 USD pairs that we're trading. Euro AUD, 4-hour pullback to buy. What are we waiting for here? Euro CAD. Oh, okay. So yeah, for this one, I think we were waiting for weekly time frame is bearish. Oh, a pullback. Okay. I think I know. Basically a pullback. This one of all of them is probably going to be ready first. I can't lie. And here's why. We have a weekly rejection candle. So weekly bearish engulfing, weekly time frame is bearish. We have a daily bearish doji, daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame has shifted underneath the EMA and pulled back to retest the double top. So yeah, at this point, we're just waiting for a lower time frame, pull back to sell. This one's going to go to the top of the list. This one was a 4-hour pullback to sell. 4-hour pullback to buy. for this one, we're waiting for the 4-hour shift to structure and break or slash break and retest to buy. So this one is going to be closer to the bottom of the list. And then last but not least is CHFJPY is going to be a 4-hour pullback to sell. So a lot of pullback to sells this week. That means that they're going to happen a lot quicker than not. I think that they're basically ordered the way I'd want them to be. So EuroCAD waiting for a lower time frame pullback to sell, 4-hour pullback to sell, 4-hour pullback to sell, another 4-hour pullback to sell, another one, pullback to buy. So we have this written down twice: 4-hour pullback to buy, 4-hour pullback to buy, shift the structure to buy, or this one goes, okay, so this one goes to the bottom, and then this one stays right there. So bunch of 4-hour pullback to sells, bunch of 4-hour pullbacks to buys, a break and retest to buy, and a lower time frame pullback to sell. Okay, that is the list for this week or for the next 48 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are able to capitalize off of these opportunities. Once again, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for joining and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.